Oi, gente! Nesse episódio do Arte&Agenda Entrevista, eu pude conversar com o Michael League, o baixista e fundador da banda de jazz instrumental Snarky Puppy, que vai tocar hoje no Araújo Vianna às 21 horas. Confira a entrevista. So, where did the idea to form a band this big and only instrumental come from?
I was writing music that was not really straight ahead jazz, and I grew up mostly listening to pop and rock and funk and soul and R&B, and so I was writing songs that were kind of in that, kind of mixing those genres, and I wanted to get a group of my friends together to try out my ideas, basically. And so everyone would come over, once a week to my house on Sundays, and we'd play through the songs. And then we did like a little gig in the basement of a pizza place, and then we just kind of never stopped playing. That's how it started. It wasn't supposed to be my career,
So what did you have in mind then, before you saw how big you got?
I think it was just, in the beginning, it was just, we were in college and everyone was playing in 15 bands, because that's what you just did. So for me, it was just another band, it wasn't, the idea was more to experiment and to hear my compositions played by human beings, so that I could get better as a composer. That was kind of the initial idea, but yeah, I mean, that changed. And looking back at it now, it's I never would have imagined that this would be happening now,
So you were always like this big group of people?
Yeah, always, from the very beginning, yeah.
And how many members do you have now?
Now there are 20, but we rotate people in and out. So, like, for example, we're playing South America right now, and we have 10 people on tour with us. But then next month we'll be in Canada, and maybe 6 of those people will be different. So we have like a group of 20 that we pull from,
Got it. So when did it hit you guys like, okay, this is it, we're making success, we're getting big? How did it happen?
It didn't happen like that. It just kind of got a little bit better every day for 19 years. I mean, I don't think there was any one moment where our crowd went from 50 to 500. It went from 50 to 80 to 120 to 180 to 260 to 300. It was like that. So there was never one single instance of like, oh, we made it. And also certain parts of the world, became fans of ours faster than other parts of the world. So sometimes we would play a gig for 300 people, and then the next day fly to another country and play a gig for like 40 people, So, I mean, last night we played in Buenos Aires for 5,000 people. Tonight we're going to play in Uruguay for 700 people, So it still happens, actually, in a certain way. I don't think the band ever really looks at it as like we made it. I think when everybody realized that we were able to survive financially from the money we were making from this band, that was like the most important moment of the band, where we felt like we didn't have to play any more weddings or bar mitzvahs or birthday parties or steakhouses or whatever we were doing to make money as individuals.
And then you got 5 Grammys. How did it feel to be recognized in such a way with one of the greatest and biggest accolades a musician can get?
I mean, it felt amazing, especially for the first one, because we were an independent, very unknown underground band. And, we were in the same category as Kendrick Lamar and Q-Tip and Hiatus Coyote and Miguel and Tamar Braxton, So, I mean, it was like a big upset, it was like an unexpected win for us. So that meant a lot, that was like the first moment that I feel like the world started looking at us like we were like a real band worthy of respect. I mean, I think a lot of musicians felt that way before, but the Grammy was when kind of the music industry started treating us with respect, which was which was nice. And every time we've won since then, you know, I definitely notice a difference in the way that people look at you and treat you, which is kind of unfortunate because awards shouldn't have anything to do with that. I mean, you don't get any better as a band after you win a Grammy, right? Like, you know, but that's the way the world works, for better or worse. But I mean, above all, it's just nice that, for me, the nicest thing is that the individual members of the band, like, they will forever be Grammy Award winners, you know, and like whenever people talk about them or whenever they write a bio. And that's like, for me, was like kind of almost like the most beautiful thing about the situation was that finally these people are getting recognized for the amount of work that they've done. And I'm very grateful for the work that they've done. But like the best way I could thank them is by them having this accolade, you know.
Got it. That's nice. And talking about your composition now, where do you guys draw your inspiration from?
I think each composer in the band draws their inspiration from different places, you know. Above all, I think music from our favorite musicians, you know, and some people are more inspired by like new, really fresh, interesting music. Some people, like me, tend to be more inspired by folkloric or traditional music from around the world. But also, you know, by reading, architecture, sports, you know. I mean, I think anytime you experience someone who's really great at something, you know, you're inspired, you know, in what you do. You know, I mean, Roger Federer inspired, or Antoni Gaudí inspire me just as much as Miles Davis, you know.
Mm-hmm. And talking about inspiration, I know you guys got a chance to record with Bernard Wright right before he died last year. So what was that like? You even studied with him, right?
Yeah, Bernard was my mentor for years. He's one of the people I was closest with for a significant part of my life. We played at church together 3 days a week. We played every Monday together, and then we played gigs on the side. I drove him to a lot of his gigs because he didn't have a car. You know, I mean, he was kind of like our musical guide in a lot of ways. Most of my musical concept comes from him, and I think a lot of guys in the band would say the same. And he also played in the band for 3 years, you know.
Oh, really?
A while ago. Yeah, he's on our third album on Bring Us the Brave. So I mean, he played in the band 2 or 3 years, and then once we started touring more, he stopped because he couldn't really tour. Mm-hmm. And then he came back and played this gig with us because we were in Dallas.
Some of you play with artists like Snoop Dogg and Kendrick Lamar. How do you think that that impact your composition and style, if so?
I think that any musical experience that a musician has affects who they are as a musician and how they play, you know. So I think for the people in the band who've played, well, I mean, everybody in the band has played with a lot of different artists and a lot of different genres. And, you know, when you have those experiences, you have a greater range of empathy for how music can be expressed and how music can be understood, mm-hmm. You know. So when you're on stage, you just have more tools, I think, to express yourself.
And you have people from many different countries in your band so far, like Japan, Argentina, Canada. Can you see elements of these different cultures in your songs?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, tonight we're playing in Uruguay, you know, and we're going to play a candombe that our Argentinian percussionist wrote with, you know, and we're going to invite 2 Uruguayan candombe percussionists to play with us, you know. I mean, so I think that you know, in this band we really celebrate the fact that people have different backgrounds and come from different parts of the world, and also just have different musical strengths. Mm-hmm. It's part of who we are.
And do you have this sort of link with Brazil too, like some compositions or influences?
Oh yeah, I think Brazilian music was the primary North American influence, and Snarky Puppy at the beginning, and has probably remained the most prevalent influence, just because I'm such a fan of Brazilian music. So I mean, yeah, there's like songs like, you know, like Semente, which I wrote dedicated to the club in Lapa, you know, in Rio, and this other song, Tio Macaco, that I named this because my brother married a girl from Belo Horizonte.
Oh, really?
And so my two nieces speak Portuguese, you know,
Uh-huh.
and one of them used to say that I looked like the monkey in this book that she loved, you know, so she used to call me Tio Macaco. And actually, it was a book about pooping. It's funny. So like a book that teaches kids how to use the toilet, you know. There's another song called Alma that I wrote for the second album that uses Partido Alto, you know, very, very, very heavily in maracatu in one section. And I mean, Brazil is so rich musically, you know, I mean, obviously rhythmically, but also harmonically and melodically, I think.
Do you have like a favorite artist from Brazil?
I have 100 favorite artists, you know, I mean, if I had to name the top 5 in no order, I would say Milton Nascimento, Hermeto Pascoal, Elis Regina, Caetano Veloso, you know, I don't know, a bunch. I mean, the list is like so long, you know. I mean, you know, Brazil is its own world, so.
So I guess that with pop music, especially, you can see concerts full of people singing the lyrics to the songs, and your fans, they can't do that, but they are still taken by the emotions you provoke. So how do you think instrumental music can reach an audience? How do you talk to people without using words?
Well, I mean, I think the reason that words are so easily understood and repeated by audiences is because they communicate clearly. They communicate ideas very clearly, you know. It's not the fact that they're words. It's the fact that through words, communication is made easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that when a band that doesn't have lyrics plays in a way that communicates just as clearly as a band that has lyrics, then I don't see lyrics as an advantage in that situation. You know, every night people sing our songs to us. They just don't have words, you know? But it really happens every night that we hear people, the audience is singing melodies back, and in fact, I almost think not having lyrics is an advantage in a certain way, because you can travel to any country on earth and people can relate to your music in an equal way. I think it makes our music more universally accessible and understandable, actually.
So this is not your first time in Brazil, right?
It's not our first or second time. I believe it's our third or fourth time.
But have you ever been to Porto Alegre?
Never.
Ah, okay. So what is your expectation for the show? Are you guys excited? Nervous?
Oh yeah. No, we're not nervous. We don't get nervous anymore. That stopped a while ago. But we're definitely excited. I mean, for musicians, you know, going to Brazil or going to Cuba or going to India, it's like, you know, I don't know. It's like there are a few places on earth where music is everywhere, you know, and where the level of musical appreciation among the public is so high, and where the level of playing among like every musician is so high. Brazil's one of those places, one of those handful of places, and so, you know, we're always excited about coming to Brazil and playing. And then, I mean, separately, of course, Brazil's an incredible country, you know. And what I'm most excited about coming to Porto Alegre is the fact that we have a night off, you know, which I haven't had a night off in 9 days, right? So I'm really excited to just enjoy Porto Alegre and kind of explore it and then play.
Are you guys planning to go sightseeing or something like that?
You know, we've been so busy this tour, so I haven't had a minute to think about anything. But if you have any recommendations, my ears are wide open.
Yeah, I guess that you guys are playing at Araújo Vianna, and it's a very beautiful auditorium, and the places nearby are very nice to see too.
Okay, near the theater?
Yeah.
Cool. Is there somewhere that we need to eat or a gig that we need to see on the night off, or?
Oh, there are many places. Yeah, there's a very traditional place that you can have like fresh orange juice, and the best, like, do you guys know what pastel is?
Like pastéis de nata or what?
No, that's
Pastel.
a Portuguese version.
Okay.
In Brazil, we have like this fried dough thing that it's kind of our version of dumplings, but it's bigger
Oh,
and it's deep fried.
pastel?
Yeah, and it's deep fried.
Oh, awesome.
And it's amazing.
Awesome.
So there's this
Awesome.
place right in front of the theater where you guys are playing called Lancheria do Parque. It's super traditional here. It's like one of the most traditional places in Porto Alegre, and they have the best orange juice and pastéis you can have.
I'm going. What's it called?
It's called Lancheria do Parque.
Okay.
So just to finish this up, can you give a message to your Brazilian fans who watch this and maybe invite them to the show as well?
Just to let everybody know that we're very, very excited to play Porto Alegre for the first time. It's not often that we play a new city because we've been touring for so long, you know. So it's always very exciting for us to do that for the first time, and that we're really excited to share so much new music from this new album with the crowd there, and that we promise we'll do our best to make sure that everyone has a good time.
Have a good concert today, and I hope you guys enjoy your night off, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.